start us off. Best of 3s and no best of 5s until the very end of our tournament. So this could be very unforgivable. And speaking of unforgivable, we have Crowd Sinkhole.
One of the most unforgivable maps. It causes you to have to spread yourself thin if you are not strong enough to get those first 2 caps. And you get 3 capped, I mean, that may just seal the deal. We are going to get a Tricera out right away to make those points a little bit squishier themselves without that striker on the matchup. And do they actually focus here towards the Falcon, allowing the Aquilas, allowing the Narukamis, if we see one here, since it is Japan, to get into the game?
And this Tricera ban targeting Mochi.
Okay.
So that's going to be tough to not have as much of an anchor player. And I don't mean like anchor in a bad way. I mean quite literally you need to stabilize around your Tricera in that anti-melee. Now trying to maybe enable some of those anti-melees. You take Falcon out of the picture, you try to deny some of that double flyer, and this is going to be a Sky Raider show. And currently I'm seeing Ray Kaiser, Sky Raider. It kind of rhymes because this guy, this is his bread and butter.
Absolutely. This means at the end game score screen, we really have to check Aquila and how much damage they were able to do. If Sky Raider, if Ray Kaiser is going to be putting that energy gas right in front of Happiness, if he's just trying to disrupt him. And we'll see if that's the case for the rest of the fight too. Good damage though still from the Infernos. They can bust down onto these Stegos, onto the tanks that are trying to take the point. So you're going to have to focus where that Inferno damage is too before they really break into the fight.
Yeah, ORCA have been running a lot of the same composition. Your Illuminate, Tricera, Welkin, Inferno, Stego, because we have the masters of each of those strikers. The main variations you're going to see out of someone like Happiness, whether it's the Sky Raider or the Aquila. This time, it's going to be the sniper, the eye in the sky that has to watch over and also find angles where he may have to play away from his team. He may have to take those risks. And Charlotte and friends from ORCA have talked about how much they rely on Happiness to be that MVP in the game.
And Charlotte saying, yeah, I think he's the best we have. He's going to be in the sky trying to make it happen. Will they be able to protect? And will they be able to take their first map of Crowd Sinkhole? What is he, like reaching over into their side? He's like, I'm going to get you, Happy.
He's like, Welkin, watch out. I got this. I love
that's John Welkin. I'm sorry.
Mr. Jonathan Welkin. I know, it's hard with the haircuts to recognize some people.
Best name, by the way.
I'm still getting to know faces, but North America versus the top of Japan face off. Which region will continue through the lower bracket? First, we have to fight for this middle objective before the perimeter gets unlocked. And there's already some people duking it out in the sky.
Welkin fight up in the air. We love that. You can see him got Skybox tickets already to the show, and they're just trying to rain down hell on the team. Oh, up to the air comes John Welkin trying to get the fight down and push the Hurricane out of positioning here. They are keeping this aerial, ladies and gentlemen.
And this is a full mirror matchup when it comes to the strikers. Stego, Inferno, Welkin, Aleseness, Aquila, and Illuminate. So it's not about who you play, but how you execute. And who will be the stars of this first show? Extra turn, though, we're starting to hemorrhage. The fluid armor's down. Valkuma low, and Marino soon to join him. But can this Illuminate from Extra turn keep them all still kicking? With the hazes of Stego, with all the boxes in store, Extra turn are buying themselves some time to heal back up until all the melees from ORCA collapse on Extra turn.
First kill comes in. And they are going to keep this pressure onto the Stego, trying to get that off, get that haze out of there so it stops protecting the rest of the team. John Welkin has to get out. Fluid armor regen about to come back up, and this is a very dangerous time for Welkin to be in the middle. Beautiful energy shield to defuse the rest of the damage as they keep fighting the open points about to happen on the sides of the map.
Man, this is just a Welkin playground with how they're able to continue spinning, and just hasn't really been capped by either team, this middle point, so the focus is going to be there. And how stable you are, you may just want to hang around. Now that middle point won by ORCA.
Charlotte in attack mode, over grabbing C. Off to heal now, as quick as they can be. 2 caps. A is actually still the fight. Now if they can hold this, it's going to be tough. So expect this 2 cap to go away at least. Will be hard to spread themselves thin this far between the 2 points, but maybe they get into position to do it.
Okay,
yeah, there
is the flip, and I'm liking that you're having some isolated solo plays from your Illuminate like Charlotte, and probably the same thing from Extra Turn. But a lot of focus goes into the middle. If you can control the middle of the map, you have a lot more real estate to play with. Forcing the enemy, especially the snipers and the flyers to the perimeter, is huge. The Ultra Heavies, though, from EXTRATRUN are pretty stable. Not a distance. Mochi and other friends are trying to poke down this setup from EXTRATRUN, but it is the double cap from EXTRATRUN, but it's only a small lead that they will keep.
A beautifully close game here as we see people spawning from both sides on the minimap. They'll dive in. We'll see where the help is going to go. Still a huge fight around A, as with B, it needs to be A that ORCA wants here. They'll have the most pressure. The EXTRATRUN is doing a damn good job of holding us off and taking the lead.
Mr. President Welkin. He commands the Welkin battle. Beautiful double kill, and now waits to assess through the smoke who is in front of him and what the focus fire is from ORCA. But Charlotte gets finished off by Ray Kaiser. This Sky Raider has been a menace, and now EXTRATRUN start to take an advantage in the kills and now double the score of ORCA.
Look at John Welkin, no fluid armor. Aruma is just having a field day, continuously hitting him with the energy damage, and it cannot be tanked for that long. Already pushed off of A once again. Ray Kaiser trying to do what he can. The Sky Raider here just denying on more energy towards the B side, and they may even get a triple cap off of this one, Lemon.
And Deacon is constantly being denied this capture because remember, folks, if you take any damage, you will not be able to capture it. Standing on it is not good enough. As ORCA try to prepare their defenses, they succumb to EXTRATRUN surrounding and peeling them apart. And ORCA take a pretty important L because EXTRATRUN, their lead is starting to get outrageous.
Okay, so even with those 3 kills, ORCA says it's still not worth to go to B, and they don't need to. Almost up 200 points already. This is a secure cap for them. And A and C is going to be the play. Steelhaze getting back into the armor mode. He's trying to wreak havoc around this site and keep them from taking it.
And respawns are coming back from ORCA, and they're not very grouped up right now, but poking at a distance. You got to hope that Happiness can deliver as Marino matches up against another Welkin. And trying to get around these boxes can be tough, and limited energy to get back to this high ground as Marino's getting Goomba stomped by ORCA. EXTRATRUN, their health is low, their armor is low, and ORCA tries to go for the finishing blow, and this is important. Every second they waste fighting is a second they're not getting this double cap back in ORCA's favor.
No, we actually just saw MDB getting hit up so hard by the Welkin from EXTRATRUN. That's the Inferno damage being stopped, where we're seeing Aruma be able to freely Inferno. A huge difference between the two teams, along with the points that we're seeing at the top of the screen.
This double cap from EXTRATRUN has gone on for too long. We're not seeing ORCA's Lumine or just anyone separate away from the flock to go for a sneaky C cap, as EXTRATRUN are probably watching over it. And that's kind of the 1v1 that may be happening over at C. As we watch through the middle of the map, EXTRATRUN haven't really been pushed to the edge. Mochi is below quarter health, but isn't taking too much pressure, as ORCA are still trying to organize their game plan. And they have sort of a 3-3 split right now.
Just watching what we were seeing the Welkin do is fire the howitzer up into the top side. Just so much room to breathe, so much time. The team's just easily communicating and taking the step by step on the side of EXTRATRUN. It just almost feels like they are not pressured in this moment with the 2 cap hold.
And with this Eliseness, there's just so much stall from the EXTRATRUN side to keep C in their favor. And also Eliseness has range, so can constantly pepper down C, which is not allowing ORCA to get any flips while the fight and all the action is going down elsewhere.
Oh man, Mochi taking out the Welkin, as you should. It's hell when you're trying to fight the Eliseness, and that is a capitalized kill. Now on Steelhaze, a bit of the heal coming in from Charlotte, trying to get the top down unparryable. It's still, there's no follow-up. They're hitting, and the dashes back from EXTRATRUN put them right inside their team. So you see that Steelhaze is forced to fight within 3 almost every time and comes away with only a scratch.
Yeah, ORCA have decided to abandon the perimeter battle and focus all at the middle, and EXTRATRUN just haven't given up a double cap since the start of the game. It is 8:30 and climbing to 3:30. ORCA, they would have to just come back from the impossible, it seems, and possibly even need a triple cap to make this possible. ORCA's plan A, plan B have crumbled, and EXTRATRUN just defend very well.
There's 2 down. You can see the caps happening at the top of the screen. 3 ORCA members trying to cap, but even with 2 EXTRATRUN down, it's not happening. The caps come through again, and this one looks like it will stand, but it has to almost be a triple cap at this point because the numbers just don't work.
You can stem the bleeding, but you will not stop it, ORCA. I think they finally got the objective done, but too little, too late. EXTRATRUN were so good at guarding the perimeter, keeping the 1v1 stalled out, not losing it, not winning, but keeping ORCA busy at all times. And that is the power of the EXTRATRUN Eliseness. That was the power of Mochi being trusted on these solo endeavors around the map. And slowly but surely, EXTRATRUN, even though they're facing a 1-2 cap, will climb up to 1,000.
Still, EXTRATRUN's losing a few members here and there and somehow organizing in mid-fight to make sure they're still capping. There's the triple cap. This is what we were waiting for, but to spread yourself across 3 is going to be one of the most difficult things for this amount of time here. ORCA has their work cut out for them, and it's already hell in here on the site. They do get a great kill onto Valkuma. That's a great assist as well coming in from Welkin. You see the double kill for him, so big work coming from the Welkin.
Yeah, EXTRATRUN can just dump all 6 of their strikers on 1 point and just wait for the next 46 points to go through, while ORCA have to patrol to see, is there someone sneaking around trying to get a back cap, because ORCA can't afford to lose a single point right now.
So they actually, EXTRATRUN just flew away from B. So B was held by solo play. Now we're over to the other side. We're on C, and it is going to be a lot of box, a lot of damage. Energy shield goes down and spin to win. And John Welkin's going to be disrupting quite a bit here. Another member of EXTRATRUN down. They are still holding the triple cap.
Yeah, wait a minute, folks. This is possible, but every death from ORCA is critical. Steelhaze, such an important pillar to this team, as EXTRATRUN focus all their forces at C. The Welkin box from ORCA to stop any of the poke, to buy them some relief, but the energy low from Steelhaze as he tries to finish off some of these kills. John Welkin at a sliver of health, and EXTRATRUN with just the cherry on top, looking for that final cap, but it's 960 to 920.
Just 4 more ticks, and they're going to be in the lead. You have to believe me when I said it's amazing to watch these teams adapt in real time here at the tournament to different things. Now a triple cap from at least 600 points down. It looks like it is going to be the win. How did ORCA pull that out? An amazing victory.
There is no way we just witnessed that. Like, triple to quadrupling the points. What an absolute choke. They were 50 points away. EXTRATRUN needed 50 extra points to win. They needed 1 capture just for like a few seconds. A triple cap that was held even despite a 5v6. ORCA had to take care of all the points at once.
Crazy.
I did not believe it until that 1,000 hit.
No one plans for that. That's not in the notes. That's nowhere. That looked like a very first map. How do you... ORCA organizing themselves and understanding what they needed to do off of the last few respawns. They really went for that A fight until they could start breaking down with MDB, their Inferno damage rather, and get everyone wiped off. They recognized that entry point that they could go and take the other site. But how do you hold 3?
That's the
point,
was it
right? Who was it B doing work? Was that at least
That's the point. It doesn't even matter. It's the fact that EXTRATRUN could have committed all 6 strikers to 1 objective, while the ORCA could have spread themselves thin, but it takes communication to not only to know where all 6 strikers are and where the main fight is taking place. For ORCA to just organize themselves in a point that seemed unwinnable. They were down like at least 400 points.
So EXTRATRUN has now a second time in this tournament been last second boomed by a team.
Oh, no way.
They had Palm Bay Harbor versus Celestial Being at 96%, and Celestial Being brought the payload back on the first. Yeah, so
they were so boomed after that.
EXTRATRUN has had some super close games, and I think it's right. You said choke. That is a win that they need to solidify.
That was harsh,
and they let go. They just rested back, thought they had the double cap freedom, and yeah, they got punished for it.
I think they also thought, hey guys, we only need 50 points. Let's just kill this guy, kill it.
And then
like,
it stayed at 950
it was so
forever.
back.
Where they get like 5 kills, 6 kills?
Yeah, they had started with killing Steelhaze, then ORCA only had 5, and there was also some people dispersed trying to scout around. Where were the flyers? Where's the Lumine? You always have to track those mobile strikers. And for ORCA to be as organized as they were in a situation where I feel like anyone else would have given up, and ORCA never gave up.
It's perfect name, ORCA Killers. They're going in. They do not wait. They take their prey. They might mess with it a little bit, but they will get that prey. I can't wait to see the stats on this game to show us how it turned around. right? We had the Skyraider in there jamming a bunch, but it seemed like once MDB found a free way to fire all the energy damage through, the fluid shields were melting, and so were
I still
Extra
can't
Turn.
believe it.
I still can't believe it.
Why do we get all the games that seem like so done, and then whoop, you have a 95% Palm Bay Harbor that turns into something else, and this one is...
Yeah, incredible stuff. Also, who is MVP? We have to try and predict who is MVP, and that, I don't know. Let's take a look at this first. Maybe it might give us an idea. Happiness up there, firing down. Charlotte said it, one of the best that we have, and he will top the scoreboard right now on this for Extra Turn.
7 kills from John
Bro.
Welkin to your Welkin
7?
enjoyer. I gotta say,
Let's go.
Just how important it is to have a good Welkin player on a map like this, especially that middle island. You can command that territory where ORCA were not able to double cap for 90% of that game. The lead was so outrageous, and it was so much focus from ORCA. They also sent Charlotte, on an adventure to try and cap the perimeter, sneak those. And that was the only time we saw a double cap, but then obviously you have to realize that your healing is dearly missed,
There he is.
and you need to focus together, and Happiness delivered those important blows as well. 4 kills adding to that. But it's the accuracy and the consistency that this guy brings.
I love it. And I love it it's Aquila, too, because you kind of look at Aquila's chest, and you got that wry smile. It is happiness. That is a happy Aquila. That is a happy MVP and a happy happiness as well. That's a lot of happy right there. You see him enjoying it. And then, see? Even they know that was close. The sigh of relief there from happiness. And we'll check it out again. John Welkin here. Both Welkins getting the boxes up, taking all the damage that they could, looking at about 2 million there. So you got to love them for putting their shields and boxes up. But the damage to get through was done by ORCA.
Mad respect to John Welkin to also go up against Marino, who was, I think, one of the best players from Extra Turn, where got an MVP on the previous series, goes back to the Welkin, and had a lot to deal with for the melee battle. And then you took out the Tricera, so there wasn't any annoying staggers to deal with.
Yes.
You took one less flyer out, so one less sort of buzzing fly to keep track of. But just great melee potential from ORCA in those moments. And of course, paired by someone with Steel Haze.
You see a triple kill there for John Welkin. Always feels good to be getting that on the Welkin. You know you're doing the right thing. Steel Haze helping out with those fights. Just racking up all the kills in these fights. And that's an 855 to 957. That was 950, so like 7 or a few kills had racked in. They make it to 960, but it does not matter. Incredible perseverance here from ORCA. Unstoppable after the triple cap. And you see what it means to them. They know they pulled off a feat to get that done.
Now there's so much momentum, so many wind behind their sails. But the ORCA came off as a team to me that had strong starts, but kind of fumbling finishes. Because they were so competitive against a lot of the teams here, found themselves in the lower bracket, where then it was like the opposite. They had a kind of an awkward start against Extra Turn, having a double cap against them that they just never turned around until like the last minute, where they triple capped and then held that for as long as they did. It kind of racked my brain around what light bulb turned on, where ORCA just went beast mode there.
Yeah, and they're going to have to go beast mode on this too. Palm Bay Harbor gives everyone a chance to move that payload. You move yours, the opponents move theirs. Speaking with MDB earlier, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Tricera ban for them so his Inferno can run wild throughout the corridors inside after B and the entrance to C. Extra Turn will ban out the Panther. We've seen some hellacious Panthers coming in on this. And what will be the domination? Extra
Turn did very well.
Actually,
that was that loss that you were talking about, so a little bit of PTSD to have to return to this, but it was the Lumine, Welkin, Tricera, Stego, Elysinus, Skyraider. That was the main composition for Extra Turn in that moment. No Panther to try and duke it out in these close quarters, but that also opens up the chance for Hurricane, Infernos. Not taking that out of MDB's hands may have been a mistake.
Skyraider, Panaka, Elysinus, Welkin, Inferno, Stego. They do not take the try, so they take a little bit more. They have that Elysinus to be a little bit more disruptive within the fight for Steel Haze. So a lot of pressure on Steel Haze to get into what is the composition of the Tricera and the Stego. Not always, obviously be distracting others, get that Panaka out of the way and mess with the Welkin. But that is a tough task. Going to need the other team along with that fight for sure.
Yeah, Panaka way better and used to be the meta pick for supportive strikers to give that shield, that single target resource
Dropping
to something
walls.
like a sniper, like a flyer. And those walls are great too, but it was a lot about giving a cape to your ace player.
Yeah.
And now Lumine is more about sharing the love to everyone in this ultra heavier meta, but we've seen so much Lumine from Charlotte, so I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do on the Panaka. Obviously, as a support player, you're going to have to learn both, and everyone had to play Panaka back in the day, so excited to see how these bans affect these teams.
It is great. Like you said, getting that little Lumine crown, or a Panaka crown rather, running around, it always looks good on you, getting that extra scatter blast from the damage. All right, we're jumping into our second map between ORCA and EXTRATRUN. The comeback momentum in favor of ORCA on our Palm Bay Harbor payload push.
And will EXTRATRUN be cursed on this map once again? Their tournament lives depend on it, and ORCA have fire in their hearts after that triple cap turnaround on Crop Sinkhole. And MDB, the infernal lord of North America, is going to make sure EXTRATRUN cannot stay still.
Aruma a little gassed, taking some time to get down, but you can see it's not for MDB here, continuously lacing the top side of B before A opens up. We see this normally. Now this high ground being taken. Oh my gosh, cycling the utility so well here, just forcing the defense out of EXTRATRUN constantly.
His energy is running low, so he's going to have to drop for the moment, but that early pressure is still appreciated. EXTRATRUN are going to need to take a second to regenerate that fluid armor. Now A is about to spawn, and these kills from ORCA are pretty critical, considering it's a 20-second respawn timer, and now the fight that takes place can get that early lead for the payload.
They had a great focus on Aruma, took him down, so it is the 6v5 right now as they go for this point. You can see on the top side of your screen the numbers capping the point if you're not looking at the fight itself right away. It gets too crazy, and that's going to be just stepped off a quick, easy one for the side of ORCA, but we expect the action to start outside of that B door. Just getting out of the trenches now.
There was just like a one-man touch from EXTRATRUN to contest that point, and ORCA just got a critical kill on the one player, Aruma, and it was a 6v5 that ORCA just knew how to execute on. And man, the salt into the wound to keep hunting for these kills. This is not only a good lead for ORCA, but one that continues. And it's EXTRATRUN. The ball is in their court to go and contest the payload, but they need to eliminate all of ORCA to reverse that progress.
Steel trying to be so annoying to Ray Kaiser right there. They finally get their payload towards the top side. Hovering above them has been MDB the whole time, looking for the perfect shot, though. The haze goes out from Sky Raider, and they're going to be safe for a moment.
And these payloads are going to start to separate, and EXTRATRUN are so focused on making sure their payload is safe, but they have to go for a play at the other payload eventually, or this lead is going to continue to grow for ORCA.
Ooh. Waiting to see what happens when we get inside. We get close quarters and everybody starts giving out high fives and hugs. The cooldowns here being managed now by MDB. We still see Steel Haze and John Welkin trying to get into the fight and do their damnedest, but that's a great box. Nice denial by EXTRATRUN. They're going to have a moment to breathe here, but Steel says no.
Steel is so Giga Chad for like basically 1v5ing in that moment, and he gets out scot-free. But ORCA have already lost John Welkin. Our Welkin GOAT is gone. A lot of melee potential. That brawl from ORCA is starting to suffer, and now your supports are not able to give those resources ORCA have lost to, and EXTRATRUN got, I think, that console, so now the lead is in their court.
Yeah, EXTRATRUN is doing such a good job at healing Marino. Double drones on him from the heals and the Tricera, and they are just able to continue blasting through these situations.
Hope Happiness gonna 180 out of that after seeing all the missiles go his way. This is a tight race and series point. Now the payloads at opposite ends of each other. Both teams just protecting their cart because they know this may just be about fighting for the console.
Where are they going? Where are they hitting? You can see the Panakas kind of hiding in the hallways just between the fighting points. This is where I was talking about MDB is going to look down the corridor and try to lace all this damage through with the Inferno. It's such an effective spot as we're seeing Marino now having such a fantastic game, continue to control little things coming at his team from side to side and then getting back into the fight.
Happy's just going for a flank and just like bombing them and forcing Extra Turn to look around, but they're all just stacked together. You did take care of the fluid armor from Mochi, so Mochi, I should say, Extra Turn, we're having some issues. Now the console, this is an important fight to take a lead, and so far ORCA are down at least one. MDB, the glass cannon, that Inferno won't be able to shred through some of these ultra heavies. Extra Turn are in a pretty healthy position, but ORCA have the high ground, and Extra Turn are trying to dislodge it. But what's important is the low ground battle. The Welkin stepping up, Extra Turn looking for the cap, and they're almost there. And ORCA are stepping up to contest, but they actually need to have bodies on it, and Extra Turn claim.
That was quick. Extra Turn is so in position right now to make this happen. It seems like ORCA didn't get the positioning coming out of the corridors that they wanted, and you just saw it fall away. Now they have to regroup. They do have MDB up top still, but what's their focus? It seems like they're just going for the payload, but falling away.
Yeah, the high ground position from ORCA was great, but then they didn't get the kills and they didn't transition to an objective-based fight fast enough, so Extra Turn have a lead. But the kills, if ORCA can reclaim this payload, it could be possible, but Extra Turn have recapped, and the payload will continue its progress, 15% away before a map 3 forced by Extra Turn.
This does become a late-game win condition. You have an Aleseness, you have a Welkin diving onto that payload. You need to fire in with the Inferno. They can get a 3-wipe here, technically, if they get all this damage to stick at once, and that's going to turn the end of this game. Doesn't look like it could happen, though.
Zhuhai back into that Aleseness armored form, brawling away, knowing they have to force Extra Turn off the cart. It's 95%, and ORCA are right on their tail. But Extra Turn are living through, and Zhuhai is doing everything to deny, and Extra Turn have just reclaimed their cart. It will progress, and 4% away. ORCA could clutch at the end.
It's so close. They're going to be almost tied, 97 to 95 right now. They step on and off of the cart. Extra Turn just needs a few more inches to push it over the line. They're tied now, and it's going to be brought back by the side of ORCA. They push forward, 2% to take it, and they're going to be able to lock it down. 2-0 versus Extra Turn in a double comeback series.
There is no way they did it again! The double curse on Extra Turn to be in a lead by that much! ORCA stayed on their tail and never gave up. The Clutch Kings and Queens take out Japan's number 3. And they continue on for their hopes to meet their brethren of Empyrean in that lower bracket semi-final. What a match!
ORCA may be touted with the team that is adapting the fastest to situations under the most pressure. We got a lot of games to go, but they have shown consistency on the brink of extinction in these games.
You gotta commend Extra Turn. They captured the cart, lost it, captured the cart, lost it. They were 50 points away from winning, lost it. We're so close to winning a fight, still got triple capped. This is a team that has gone through thick and thin, but ORCA giving hope to North America that they could show up against Japan and China and possibly go all the way. Empyrean and ORCA move on in the lower bracket.
Incredible stuff. Can't wait to see the post-game screen. You know what? ORCA gets MVP. That's my guess. Honestly, everybody playing amazing there. It took the entire team to get the win. And we do have to say goodbye to Extra Turn. They played fantastically in the tournament, and there are things you can look at for why you lost those last moments, but to have it happen twice is unfortunate.
What a matchup, though.
It was.
For ORCA
so good.
To blossom late. Better late than never.
Absolutely. Like we said, playing with their food a little.
It's Extra Turn quite literally tripping over their laces at the finish line. On the payload map, there's literally a finish line, and it was like 95%, and I was like, just thinking they just have to progress a little bit. Every time I'm like, it's right there, and their tournament lives slip away. But to make top 8 again says so much. But I think the real conversation is how competitive all the regions have looked so far.
It is incredible. Even with the bans coming out, the way they can flex against each other, who's playing amazing, you identify what their strength is, but they still, every team still shows that they have more than one strategy coming in. And honestly, that's what you're looking for as the tournament goes on. The growth of these teams. We still have, you know, Anubis, Luna Break, and teams like that in the tournament that are ready to fight these learning teams. So they have a ways to go, but they're showing so much improvement.
Yeah,
incredible.
And it's also glad to see the main core rosters for this match, and everyone wasn't sure who to predict for this one, right? Because this is not even like Japan's quote #1 team, and they just got beat by ORCA, and it's just so crazy to see that. I think people are underrating how good North America is, especially a team like ORCA, who yes found their way into the lower bracket, had a strong start, but they're starting to contest the other regions so well.
Happiness there. 0-0-6, you see the assists, and 2-0-4 Steel Haze, 5-2-3 Welkin, 7 kills between them. We saw the double kills coming in there in the middle fight as well. Great job by Marino in the fight with Hiwami's healing, but it just wasn't enough. The way that ORCA played the late game, it seemed like they weren't ready for C, but that's what it looked like. It seemed like they were prepared for what would happen after C. That control of damage onto the payload, you know where a Tricera and everywhere else is going to be, and they unloaded that damage. Albeit inches from the finish line, it worked.
I know you're going to go crazy when I say this. I think it's a Welkin MVP.